Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of 51 Stories of Emotional Wellbeing with EaR. Today, I have Shweta Pandey with me, who is Vice President of Northern Trust. She has two young boys, and she is a lovely mother and an inspiration to women all around. Welcome, Shweta. It's lovely to have you here with me today.
Thank you so much, Pragati, for inviting me. I have been following you. I've read your book, Hope. It's amazing. And I must say that all that awareness that you're creating through these sessions, it's commendable. Kudos to you. I'm
Thank
really
you
excited for the session.
so much, Shweta. And like I always say, till we don't have conversations about mental health will remain uh, like an elephant in the room, which no one wants to talk about but is impacted by. So it's just so wonderful to have you here today. Tell me something about Shweta as a woman, the little girl Shweta who's into the woman of substance today.
Okay, so I would want to categorize into two things. One, what I'm today is because of some of the principles and values that were infused at a very early stage in my life. And the other would be some of the choices that I made, which I'll talk about. And I'll talk about some of the anecdotes from my childhood. I come from a family. My dad was a very hardworking person. Is a very hardworking person, and he's a son of a farmer, coming from a very modest family, not so very good. But he's worked very hard in terms of he's been a role model to me and working very hard day in day out. He's a self-made man that I see him right now, and all that goes is because of the hard work that we've seen him. With literally no means or little measures or little resources, he was able to achieve where he is right now. And whenever we hear stories from him, it's all about hard work. So since very early in my life, as long as I can remember, we have always been told that there is no substitute for hard work. Luck may play a factor, but don't count more than 1%. So that has been infused deep into it. I should say it's running in the blood, that you have to work hard. And that's one of the things that we have always been, that, if you have to achieve something, it's not going to come easily to you. You will have to put your sweat into it to get that. The other piece is my dad is an IS officer. So coming from a son of a farmer to being an IS officer has been a commendable journey for him. Very inspiring. But what it also brought to us was, as part of his career, we used to move from cities to cities very frequently, like 18 months to 3 years would be the normal norm that you will stay in a place. While we moved to a lot of places, what I realize now is that the ability to change, the ability to adapt to anything new comes very naturally to me. I don't have to fight back. And all that is because you've changed so many things at that time. I've changed as many schools as the grades that could be in school. So that's what I enjoy. So it has happened. And there have been midterms also, like, because the transfers can happen at any point in the time. I have entered a school in Jan and the final exams went in March. So faced a lot of stuff. So the fear of, change is no longer there with me. I have somehow managed to, adapt to situations, make my way through, penetrate into any circle I wanted to, speak out, make friends. And sometimes when things went wrong, I think somewhere in my heart I had, it's only there for 6 more months. Papa ka transfer to ho hi jayega. So that hope and everything else came to me very early in my life. So that has its own set of lesson. And if I look back right now, when I was in class 8, my dad had 4 transfers. 8 years of age, my dad has 4 transfers. Thinking about the number of schools that I had, think about the exposure, the number of people I had met. I had met around like 450 plus kids by the time. That much exposure that I got, and not just kids in one region, My dad was posted in MP, UP, Delhi, Maharashtra, Guwahati. So I've had a variety of exposure to culture, variety of exposure to people, their thought process, how they perceive. I've had my own challenges. There was one very interesting incident that happened. I went to a school. It was my first week in school, and I just couldn't make any friends. My Hindi teacher noticed that. She asked me, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Nobody talks to me." And she turns back and she asks my classmates, and they're like, "Okay, she's different." And while I'm still standing there, she's like, "Explain what is different." And everybody came back and said, "You know what? We had asked her for something. She's replied in this way. It was not good." Somebody came back and said something else. And every time a person would would put their point, my teacher would look at me and say, "Shweta, is that right?" And I was like, "Yeah, but this is my part of the story." Uh, at the end of it, it all got cleared. It was more about the communication gap. It was more about that I was coming from a different place and I would use something else, which the other would not perceive in the right way. Uh, she told me this in front of everybody. What I liked about you was how truly or the truth with which you actually try to answer everything. You never said that no, maine aisa kabhi nahi kiya. You accepted and that you put your point. So I like that thing in you. So that incident told me that, you know what, truth always prevails. You can, if the moment you speak without manipulation, you'll be able to put your point forward and you will be able to make things happen. You don't have to, explain or do other stuff. I still have some of my friends who are friends with me till now. And thanks to that, मुझे भी डांट पड़ा था. She was like, you have to explain, understand the situation. But it was me in my school days. It was too early, but at least those things exposed me to certain scenarios, which made me think that, you know what, you just can't go in and start doing things your way. You have to think, observe, and then make your move. So a lot of this has happened way back when I was in school. Another story that comes to my mind is about I used to participate in poem recitation as kid, and in class 7th, I had a poem which connected so well with me. It was "Oh Captain, My Captain" by Walt Whitman, and everybody around it was like, "It's an amazing poem," and I was like, I wanted to recite that. I went prepared for it, did my due diligence, but I did not win a prize. My teacher was like, "What went wrong? I mean, this is such a powerful poem. It should win prize." I had no clue. But I just couldn't give up the thought that I picked up something and it just did not work. Next year in class 8, I did the same thing. I did not get any prize. I was still upset about it. I prepared it more than what I had because I was like, okay, practice, practice, practice. Maybe something did not connect well. Let's do it. It still did not click well. And my teacher at the time said, "You did the same thing that you did last year." And I was like, yeah, maybe last year did not connect well. And this year it would. She asked me, "How do you think that would?" And that made me think that she was right. I did nothing. I was determined to come the next year. That year, my parents got transferred, so it was not the same school. But I was very focused that I will recite the same poem, irrespective, in the poem recitation. So I went ahead and did that. I did not get any prize. I did change certain bits of it. Class 10th again, I tried. No luck. 4 years in a row and no luck. And my younger brother was like, "You know what? You're just running after something that makes no sense." And I was like, "No, it's a good poem. It has to be heard. Maybe I'm not doing it the way it has to be." But somewhere in my heart, I had actually given up. I have to admit that. When I went to class 11th, I changed my school again. And that time I wasn't participating into anything because that was the year when I actually started going into coaching, and I had school and then coaching, and there were multiple things that I was working on. So I didn't get time. But my English teacher came back and said, Shweta, we have to do this because, you know, the points get counted for your house, and then in the end the house gets awarded at the end of the year. And he's like, we can't miss out on anything, you have to come prepared for it. And I was like, I don't have anything prepared. And he's like, the guy who was supposed to say is out sick, so let's go ahead and do something. So I did come. I said yes to him. Late in the night, after coming from my coaching, which was 9 o'clock in the night, I was like, I'll do this poem again. And then I was looking back and through a lot of events, I remember what my teacher had told, that you did the same stuff. You did not change anything. This time I thought that that poem is by heart to me. No matter what time of the night you wake me, I will be able to recite that poem to you. I started writing something in the very beginning, like a storytelling, to explain the crowd what the essence of this poem was, what I thought the essence of this poem was. And next day I went and did that. I got the first prize, and everybody after that came back telling me this was the best performance we've had in years. I went straight to my mom, who was a teacher in the same school at the time. And I was crying, and I was telling her that I got a first prize. And I told her, Mom, I didn't practice much. And she said, no, you did practice. You brought in a flavor of yours, which was very much appreciated. You did not do what was told to you. You changed it. You caught everyone's attention from the very first paragraph, and you explained to them what it matters to you. So that was one instance where I mean, post that, I have always tried to look at things through my way. So whenever I get something, I just don't take it at the face value. I try to make changes. I try to add my flavors, and I try to do other stuff. It has taught me a lesson of resilience, that you should never give up. If you are so touched with something, if it connects with you, there is no way it will let you down. It will come back to you with rewards at one point in time.
I don't really love this because, a lot of times we feel that just follow the crowd. And while, like you learn the lesson in adaptability, do in Rome as Romans do, which we sometimes have to do when it comes to mannerisms and all that. But when it comes to real success, as we are learning in I am transitioning into leadership program, your personal branding, and when you're completely ready to add your own flavor to something, that's when things stand out. That's when you succeed in life. So, Shweta, this was just so wonderful to hear that, hearing both aspects of it. Try till you succeed. And at the same time, just disrupt everything and add your own flavor and just go for it courageously. And this is very pertinent today because a lot of times at the workplace and, as a woman of the world today who juggles parenting, who juggles work and career, there are a lot of things that you think you're prepared for, but somehow the best laid plans go awry. So something like that that you can really talk about would be wonderful. Yes, please.
Yes, I wanted to add one more thing as you were speaking, and I'll come back to this. There was one more instant, Pragati, as I was thinking about. It was again from my school days when my father once came to my parents teacher meeting. So way back early in those days, parents teacher meeting was like your parents come, they talk to your teacher, and you're busy with your friends. For some reason, in that standard, I was with my dad, and I was listening to what he was asking my teacher. And he asked my teacher one question. Does she ask question? And she's like, yeah, she asked a lot of questions. And then he asked her, does she apply what you teach her? And she's like, I've seen her, but I can't give you the bigger picture because I've not observed so much. And she was also taken back by this question because nobody has ever asked her this. These are the only two questions he asked, and then we came back. He corrected my report card and we came back. I've never been a very studious person. Like I've never been the first three in my class, but I've been a good student. On my way back, I asked my dad, you know what, you have always been topper, you've been where you are, and you don't have that expectation from me. And he came back and told me two important things that stuck with me. First, I've already done my due diligence to bring you at a place where resources and other stuff is not a constraint. You have to do the same so your generation gets better than what you are getting right now. And that cycle has to follow. So he was inspiring me and increasing the bar, also raising the bar. And the second thing is said, coming first and second class is not relevant, but I don't want you to miss out on the competition. And it was said very clearly to me, like, come the time when you have to crack competitions, it has to be done. So it was not like I took things easy, but I was more confused after that, what that expectation is, because you would expect that, cracking an entrance means you would be studying hard. But I soon realized the time, the way the curriculum was structured, you have to put in a lot of effort for any of those things. But that kind of made things very clear to me of where I was. I started thinking about where I want to head in future, where I want to see myself in future. I started researching and talking to my seniors. We didn't have internet at the time, but I started talking to a lot of seniors in my colony, asking them, what is it that you are aspiring for? What is it that you are doing? And what will you do after that? And blah, blah, blah stuff. And then I started getting a focus and a track in my life, which very much helped me. That day has taught me one thing. And this will partially also talk about one thing, the pressure that a lot of us gets trapped into, that you have to be the best at whatever you are. Nowadays, it was initially that, you have to be the top, but now it's like you have to be best at whatever you are. It doesn't work that way. You can still excel if you are passionate about what you're doing, if you know where you're going and heading to. And it helped me. It helped me do wonders. If I see fast forward from that time, 6 years later, pretty much every competition I said I did crack that. So that was something that I look forward to, and I still see, like, I graduated from the top 10 engineering college in the country. The admissions to which was very hard, everybody would speak about. But yeah, that type of ecosystem that gets created when you are way early in your career by your parents, by your family, that, you can flourish, do whatever you want to, is very, very important, that one has to remember. And the reason I'm talking about here is some of these things that my parents did when I was small, Pragati, I wanted to carry forward that to the next generation also, because they are things of value and essence to me. And I think that will help them also move on in their life to a different stage. So sorry, I know you asked me a different question, but this just came to me, and I thought.
I think that's the point of a conversation, when we speak from the heart, we need to, that's what's important, Questions come, questions go. Questions will always get answered once they've got thrown. That's what I believe.
Yeah. So coming back to your question about juggling between so many things, I think there are some choices that we have to make in life. It's not easy. I still get questions. You're mom of 2 toddlers. How do you manage work? And I was like, why is that question coming to me? My husband is a father of 2 toddlers, and I have a partner in crime to help me in all this stuff. One thing, it's happened to me with my first baby. It so happened that I was in the US at the time. We were expecting, my husband just switched a job and he couldn't get many leaves. My parents were supposed to come there because of some medical conditions. Neither my parents nor my in-laws could come in. And that point in time, it became really difficult to handle everything by myself. It was a rough phase, wherein the baby was left to me. I had no clue. I was counting that my parents or my in-laws will be there and they'll help me guide. It's the first baby. I shouldn't do anything. My husband used to do a consulting job where he used to fly out on Sunday night and come back Thursday night. And the remaining 5 days, the baby was with me, who's still learning or coping up with this challenge of new motherhood. It wasn't easy, sleepless nights, no diet plan. You skip meals, you get irritated, and everything else happens. But soon I realized that one has to accept that it's okay to be not okay. The acknowledgement has to happen. And when you acknowledge that, things will not be perfect or things will not always be okay, you can make the next move. As soon as I realized, because at that point in time, I was like, I have an infant in my home. How can my room not be tidy? It has to be cleaned. Everything has to be shining. And then I realized, no, it doesn't have to be. It's okay if I have a dirty laundry. It's okay if my dishwasher is not done. What's important is me having a good night's sleep. What's important is that I get my time where I can just think about myself and take care of myself. So I think at that point in time, I got a very healthy support from my friends, who few of them who were there around me in office, after office, to speak to me, to talk to me. Some of my friends who would give me advice over, if they're not in person, we'll have long conversations where we'll discuss about our story. And I soon realized it's not just my story. Every mom, or pretty much most of the mom, goes through the same phase. It's just about, you open up, you talk about these things, discuss with people. There are times you want a sounding board. You want a person to just hear you out. So you can just vent out and just be okay after it. You want some small gossips. You want just to say, what, I was so happy with the baby just being in my stomach. Now I cannot go into the loo also because this one will start crying. So some small moments, some small connects, conversations, opening up with friends, asking for help. uh, I soon realized that there were venues that you can have support, even though it was US there. I could get a person who could come and help me with the kid, help me with other stuff till the baby was in daycare, and then it was perfectly fine. So very important for us to realize our boundaries. Uh, I I want to say that we should just stay away from the super women syndrome. It's not possible. We just can't do that. That Durga avatar is not on planet Earth. She sits somewhere else. Uh, we have our own boundaries. It is okay to be not okay. It is okay to ask for help. It is okay to, say that, I'm not able to manage this thing. I need some help. So these are the things that, you have to have in place. I'm able to work, and the number of hours that I work is crazy at times, is because I have a support system. I have a husband who kinds of, plans things around if my day is very crazy. I have a nanny, a full day nanny who's there out taking care of my kids, and a very nice one. She's part of a family. I have people and friends who I can actually reach out to. And sometimes I can even just go out and say, what, this house is a mess. The 2 kids and my husband are gone crazy. I just want to speak to somebody else. So I think it's things like this, which may sound sometime not okay, but sometime here and there, actually we should go ahead and do certain things. Just experiment with yourself. Do things which make you happy, and yeah, just keep yourself happy.
That's really nice, that accepting our own limitations and being kind to ourselves so that we can actually recharge and feel as though, happiness is not just a butterfly, it is a day-to-day reality. And I think that's very well put, that sometimes just understanding that, yes, I'm not a goddess and I don't need to be a demigod. I can just be myself, and that is fine, absolutely. So, what are some of the things that you use on a daily basis to enhance your emotional ability? any emotional ability resources that are always your go-to things?
Uh, I do take out some time for myself on a daily basis, Pragati. Uh, I'm an early person. So I get up at 5:30 in the morning, and my kids, they are up by 7. So I usually try to use the time just for myself. I go out for either a walk or a jog. Uh, that helps me because it's my thinking time also. I think about myself, just myself, no work, nothing else. What did I do for myself yesterday? And so things that I would want to do, plan out a vacation, or anything. It's just my time. I'll just think about it. Uh, I like reading book. So whenever things don't work very well, I would go back to a book which will just change my focus, my mood, and everything. So I enjoy doing that. So these are the two things I do. I have started doing yoga recently, started meditation. The first 2 days I slept when I was meditating. So I'm going to get better at it. But I think that was a way to tell me that, you need more sleep than what you're right now getting. So yeah, give more time to oneself. Think just about myself. And the other thing that I actually do to make me happy is uh, I don't wait on somebody else to reward me. This is very peculiar thing. If I feel happy about something, I'll just go ahead and buy something for myself and gift it to me. So there was one incident when I went to a shop. I had received my bonus. I wanted to use it somewhere. I got myself a good sari, and the person asked me, "Do you want to wrap it?" I said, "Yeah, wrap it and write, congratulations, Shweta." I came back home, opened it, wore it, and enjoyed it. So yeah, uh, these are the things that help me stay giving time to myself, reading books, uh, and thinking about how I can make myself happy.
I think that's so well put. A lot of times, when we succeed, we look out and we wait for our loved ones to pamper us. That, oh, and when they can't, perhaps they speak a different love language, or perhaps they are just too busy. So sometimes, we let that pull down a good day. So, what a beautiful technique. You just go and pamper yourself if you have the means. And that takes the pressure off relationships in a very beautiful way.
So true. I have a husband who forgets my anniversary every year. So I know the fight can happen only 2 years, not beyond that. I better find his card, go and shop.
I like that, and I think a lot of wives watching us today would realize that, hey, just pamper yourself because you want to be pampered. It doesn't matter who's doing the pampering. You're feeling pampered, and that's what's important.
True. Because I told my husband on a Valentine's Day, the first few years of our dating, that, you know what, these are the gifts that you sent me. And he's like, how is it that I gave you those gifts? And I was like, I used your card because it's you who is supposed to give me. So, yeah, just find out ways to, keep that relationship healthy, keep yourself happy.
I
Don't
kind of
think that.
like that, self-reliance, even in gifts, wow, that's
Yes,
a lovely take, and solves a lot of relationship issues if,
so true.
like you rightly said, being adaptable saves us from a lot of difficult situations. So that when actual troubles come, like for example, handling an infant single-handedly in a strange country with zero support system, you have the wherewithal to deal with it. You are ready to understand that, yes, this is a difficult situation and I need to try my level best. And it's okay not to
Mhm.
be okay. Any other challenges that come to your mind that you have successfully tackled and worked towards your emotional well-being?
Yeah, there has been one more, Pragati. So um, when I was in job, I was doing really good. And 14 months in my work experience, I was sent to US, which was very uncommon at that point in time. That I just joined a year in the system, and uh, I was going for an on-site opportunity. When I landed in Chicago that time, it was year 2008. I met the love of my life there. And we dated for like 6 months. And then I told my parents and his parents about us. It was not taken in the way that we had anticipated. Like they were like, okay, you people are different. How could you be together and blah, blah. The same old questions that your parents will ask. And we're like, okay, but we've known each other for 6 months. We like each other. We've spent enough time. We know that we will be spending, we would like to be together. What we didn't know at the time was that this courtship or this whole thing would go on for 6.5 years. It took us so much time to convince our parents. And I think more than convincing, they were just waiting and testing us if we are strong enough in our decisions or not. At that point in time, there was a point that we both were like, what are we doing? Because when you see your friends getting married, you see people of same age getting married, and the two of us being stuck at that point in time, it doesn't leave a very good taste in either. We used to get, there were some challenges, like, there were times that we just didn't know what to talk to each other, because what we would discuss is like, did you hear anything positive from your family, or did you hear anything this? At the same time, it coincidentally happened that the place that I was working in, I was seeing a stagnant growth. I wasn't seeing any, my growth was becoming stagnant. So I just couldn't balance things. I was like, okay, my personal life is not working in the direction I would want. My professional life seems to be screwed up. It was a tough phase. But I think there was one incident that happened that a lot of my college friends wanted to have a reunion, a 5-year reunion, and we all were on a video chat at that point in time. And then I asked this question to my friends, most of them who were married. What would you do when you're married? And they mostly talked about, we travel, we go out, have fun, Friday movies, yay, wo. So I got a lot of ideas. I came back to my fiance then. I tell Ravi, you know what? This is all these people do. We both are not movie person. Strike that out. Travel. Why can't we travel without marrying? Let's start doing it. So I came up with a creative way that every Christmas, we will put some chits in our stockings. And of the wish that we want to be fulfilled next year. And that was purely travel, because we both love travel. And at the time, we were like, okay, jab chutti mil rahi hai, tab tak travel karo. Then we are like, no, we have to take out some time off and then travel to places where we want to enjoy. And I would keep things of my choice in my stockings. He would keep 3 chits in his stocking. I will pick out one from his stocking, not disclose him, and give him a surprise on his birthday. And he'll take out one from my stocking and give me a surprise on my birthday. So it became a norm. And every year, twice, we used to travel, and we started traveling around the world. So the first thing happened with his birthday, which was in February, immediately after Christmas. We went to Africa. And on my birthday, we went to Mexico. And then there was no stopping. We've been to 5 continents. We have traveled around the world, while our parents took their sweet time figuring out what they want to do with these 2 people. So, and the reason why I wanted to bring about was, I'm not saying that phase was easy for us. It was definitely difficult. But it's all on the people how to handle that pragati. It's very important that how you want to handle. Either you be with people who will always be asking you, "Shadi kab kar rahe ho? Ye kab ho raha hai? Don't you think your body clock is ticking?" and blah 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 stuff. Or you find your ways to have your own set of fun. We've been social people. We've had a good circle. People who have actually seen us fighting to each other about small stuff, and still, listening to us, trying to have that psychological safe environment. So, telling us that things will be okay. Just give your parents some time. Just give this some time. People who have come back and told me, Shweta, this workplace is not meant for you. It's a toxic workplace. You need to get out of it. Whose advice I have taken, and I've moved out from some areas where I thought that this does not fit me. So there will be places which will not work. There will be situations which might not go in the direction that we want to. Nevertheless, I think how do we want to manage it is in our control. Whenever I find a catch-22 situation, I try to be just away from it. I just don't want to be in a position that, see myself drilling and going in circles and not getting any value out of it in workspace. And in my personal life, I think it's a little complicated, because when you deal with your own family and friends, you're very, very sensitive about it. But at the same time, you still can find a way to keep yourself happy, to still enjoy life, so that when you look back, you don't think that, I should have done this differently. It's beautiful the way it is.
I so agree with you, because, in my counseling sessions, I often tell people, and especially in my training sessions, that the purpose of life is to have fun. And they look at me, really, has this woman lost it? No one says it. But I say you can only have fun when you've done the best possible to the best of your ability. When you feel you've done your bit, and rest, you propose and God disposes. So when we try our level best. The other day, I was talking to this young technocrat who's in a first world country and who had not got through the premier management institute where he wanted to get onto, And as we spoke about it, he was on a good job, drawing a very healthy salary. He said, I don't repent it much, although I felt really bad at that time when the rejection letter came. And because I know I really gave it my heart and soul, up to the point that even the relationship that I was in, I didn't give it as much priority. That is something I regret. But as far as getting through that MBA program, I've made my peace with it. So exactly what you're talking about, when we live for the moment and try our best, we are able to have fun in life, irrespective of the constraints that are there at that moment. So thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure today, Shweta, chatting with you. And any tips that you want to leave our viewers with?
I would say be kind to yourself. And there was something very interesting that I read this morning. Before you share love, save some for yourself. I think I like that. Yes. And I would want to share with everyone who's viewing this.
That's so well put. And thank you so much for taking time out, Shweta. This has indeed been a pleasure. And all
thank
the
you
very
so
best
much,
to you in your journey. Take care.
Thank you so much. Good night.